Everybody knows what this is. But are you really getting the most out of it? If you're like me, then probably not. Because for the longest time, I would just use a standard set of twist bits for just about all my woodworking tasks. But over the years, I learned that there are 7 drill bits that will make your woodworking projects easier, more precise, faster, and better looking. And they won't cost you an arm and a leg either. Man, I wish I knew about these things sooner. Hi, I'm Daniel, and I like to make stuff out of wood and make tip, tool, and build videos for beginner to intermediate woodworkers. And probably like you, I do it all from a relatively small space. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can see more. All right, let's get back to the video. Now, forcing bits may not be the first bits you should get, but they're probably the second. We'll get to the first one here in a bit. And if you're unfamiliar with what forcing bits are, they're these wide, flat-bottom bits that kind of look like a crown when you turn them upside down. I guess that's why they call them the king of the drill bits. Nobody calls them that. But no matter what you call them, they have a ton of advantages. Some of my favorites are, 1, they make a clean, flat-bottom hole. Unlike a twist bit that leaves a cone-shaped or pointed bottom, forcer bits create a perfectly flat-bottomed hole. This is crucial when you're drilling to a specific depth, but not all the way through, like when you're installing concealed hinges or making a recess for some other piece of hardware. 2, they make smooth, tear-out-free cuts. Forcer bits have a rim that scores the circumference of the hole before the cutting edges remove the material. This means you get incredibly clean entry holes with virtually no tear out, even in fragile materials like plywood and veneer. 3, they make precise hole placement easy. The center point on a forcer bit is designed to provide accurate positioning. It's like having a built-in center punch. You just place it where you want the hole and it stays there. No wandering or skating across the surface like you might get with some other bits. And 4, they give you the ability to overlap holes. This is something unique to forcer bits. You can drill holes that partially overlap each other, which is perfect for creating mortises, elongated holes, or any non-circular opening. Now, for a good starter set of forcer bits, I'd actually recommend the same set that I have here. You could definitely spend more, but these have been great for me. A quick word of caution though, forcer bits in the larger sizes can be a handful in a handheld drill. So you want to make sure you have those on a slower speed and have a drill with enough torque. And the slower speed is both for safety and longevity of your bits, because too much speed with the larger bits will result in more heat, which will prematurely dull your bit. So a drill press might be the best solution for the larger bits, but don't worry if you don't have a drill press yet. We'll talk about a solution for that in a bit. Now, if you're looking for a direct replacement for standard twist bits, it would be these, brad point bits. They look like your standard twist bits, but with one major difference. They have a center point with 2 spurs on either side. And just like with the Forstner bit, having the center point means when you place the bit on your workpiece, it stays exactly where you put it. The spurs on the sides also score the wood before the main part of the bit starts cutting, which means you get cleaner entry holes with less tear out. And a real world example of how not using one of these bits can affect your project, on this shelf, I inserted some brass dowels as an accent to the sapele. From afar it looks fine, but up close you can see where there was tear out from me using a standard twist bit instead of a brad point bit. So the hole wasn't as clean as it could have been. And in woodworking, and in life, the goal should always be to have a clean hole. Now here's a set I like to get you started. It's a 6-piece set. You can get a set that comes with more bits and a hard case, but obviously that'll cost you more money. This is a set I got started with, and again, they've been great. Earlier I said forcer bits should be the second additional drill bits you get, and that's because the countersink bits should be the first. A countersink bit typically combines multiple functions into one tool. At its core, it drills the pilot hole for your screw, but it also creates that conical depression that allows the screw head to sit flush with or below the surface of the wood. And the reason I said that this should be your first addition to your bit collection is because as woodworkers, we often use more screws in our projects the earlier we are in our woodworking journey. And off the top of my head, I can't think of a time that I'm going to have visible screws in a project and not want to countersink it. I mean, it looks better, it feels better tactilely, and you don't have to worry about anything getting snagged on a protruding screw head. There are actually several types of countersink bits, each with their own advantages. You've got your standard countersink bits. These are the simplest form, just a cone-shaped cutter that creates a tapered hole for flathead screws. These are great if you already have pilot holes drilled and you just need to add the countersink. Then there are the combination drill and countersink bits. These have a drill bit in the center for the pilot hole with a countersink cutter around it. These are more efficient since they create both the pilot hole and countersink in one operation. And these are the ones I would recommend. And there are a couple different types that I use in my shop. This type here has a drill bit body and an adjustable collar that the countersink cutter is attached to. And it goes up and down depending on how deep you want to drill your pilot hole. The collar is there to help you prevent from drilling too deep, but I find that when using it on softwoods like pine or cedar, the collar can end up denting your workpiece. The other type that I use is also adjustable, but there is no collar to potentially dent the workpiece. The drill bit body is also tapered, which makes it more pleasant to use in my opinion. I also like that they're cheaper than the other one. I can buy about 6 of these individually for every one of these, and I can save even more if I buy them in a pack. But I also find that they tend to bend or break a little bit easier. So if you buy these, the money that you save should probably use to buy a few extra. All in all though, I tend to use these for softwood and these for hardwood, but either one will get the job done. The next bit is kind of like a kicker in football. It's not that versatile. It really only has one job, but when it comes to doing that job, it's pretty much indispensable. That bit, of course, is the self-centering bit, or VIX bit you may have heard it called. This bit is designed to automatically drill holes right in the center of hardware holes, like on hinges, brackets, or hooks, or what have you. It has a spring-loaded metal sleeve that fits into the hole of the hardware, guiding the drill inside to make a perfectly centered hole. So some tools save you time, some tools increase accuracy. This one does both. And when you buy these, they usually come in a set with a few different sizes. My set is a 3-size set from Bosch with a number 6, number 8, and number 10. And again, they've been great. These next bits are great companion bits to have alongside your Forstner bits. And that's because with the clean, tear-out-free holes that Forstner bits drill, plug cutters create wooden plugs that fit perfectly into those holes, allowing you to completely hide your screws. And the best part? You can cut these plugs from the same piece of wood you're working with, which means the grain and color can match perfectly, if you wanted to. Or you can make a design choice to use a contrasting wood species. Plug cutters are probably best used in a drill press, but you can definitely throw them in a drill and go to work. And to release the plugs, you can just pop them out one by one, or go the slightly more satisfying route with the bandsaw. Now you might ask, why can't we just use pre-cut store-bought dowels to fill the holes? And that's a fair question, but there are a few reasons why. 1, you can match the wood exactly with the plugs, all the way down to getting it from the same board at times. You won't be able to do that with store-bought dowels. 2, dowels are always going to be end-grain. So even if the wood looks the same, once you put finish on it, the end grain is always going to be much darker, which is no bueno if you're trying to have the plug be inconspicuous. 3, cutting your own plugs is easier to match the exact size of the hole than relying on the sizing of the pre-cut dowels. For example, the plug cutting set I have comes with 3 different size bits. You just match them up with the same size Forstner bit, and you're good to go. The set I have is made by Montana, and I've had no issues with these, but there's another set I found on Amazon that's a bit cheaper, and it has just as good a review, so I'll put a link to both below. Now this next one isn't technically a drill bit, it's more of a drill accessory. We'll call it drill adjacent. But whatever you call it, it definitely earns a spot on this list. A right angle drill attachment. It's absolutely worth its weight in gold when you're working in tight spaces where a regular drill just won't fit. Like inside of cabinets, for example. Mechanically, it's pretty simple, but super effective. It uses a set of internal gears to transfer the rotation of your drill 90 degrees. Most have a 1/4-inch hex shank, so they snap right into your impact driver. And they usually accept standard hex bits too. Some even come with a magnetic tip to hold your fastener in place. It connects right to your drill and gives you the flexibility to get into those hard to reach areas without having to force it or work at some awkward angle. You won't use it every day, but when you need it, it'll make your job a whole lot easier. And you can get these at a 90-degree angle or other angles. But the one I like and use is this flexible one by DeWalt. I just find it a bit more versatile than the one angle options. And fun fact, I actually find myself using it less for woodworking and more around the house and for other DIY type tasks, But regardless of how you use it, this thing is a lifesaver for sure. So earlier when I was talking about a solution if you don't have a drill press, I was referring to our next drill bit adjacent item, this guy, the portable drilling guide. And basically this thing turns your handheld drill into a mini drill press. It's basically a frame with a depth stop and guides to ensure your drill moves perfectly straight up and down, or at another angle if you choose. And this solves two major problems for us hobbyist woodworkers. First, it gives us drill press functionality at a fraction of the cost and space requirements of a real drill press. And second, it allows you to bring the drill press to your workpiece instead of the other way around, which is huge for large projects that wouldn't fit on the drill press table. And this is primarily what I use mine for, since I do have a small drill press in the shop. And mine is about $40, and at this price, this tool gives you, 80% of the functionality of a drill press for a fraction of the cost and space requirements. But if the portable drilling guide is the poor man's drill press, then this little woodworking whatnot is the poor man's portable drilling guide. This is a straight hole drill guide, and it does exactly what the name says it does. Helps you drill straight holes. This one is about $7 and has 6 different size holes to choose from. And if the portable drilling guide gets you 80% of the functionality of a drill press, this guy gets you, 50% of the functionality of a portable drilling guide, which means that this is basically 40% of a drill press. Is that math right? 80% times 50%, 40%. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Those percentages are made up anyway. The point is, it helps you drill straight holes. All right, that's enough drill bit talk for one day. But if I missed any that you think I should have included, just let me know in the comments. All right, y'all take it easy.